Hi everyone. So I suppose a quick intro from myself, and then I'll pass over to Natalie. So my name's Michael Robson. I've worked for Virgin Media O2 now for, believe it or not, I know I don't look it, 21 years. And I suppose to begin with, for an intro, I would definitely say that 21 years ago, when I was sort of pretty much at your age, thinking about what career path do I want to take, did I think that 21 years later I would be standing on the stage in front of you talking about my experiences at Virgin Media O2? Absolutely not. I joined a call centre with a headset on, thinking, is this the career for me? Maybe for 6 months while I look for other opportunities. And then quite simply, Virgin Media O2 got a hold of me. It's just a great company to work for, so many great opportunities. And they really pride themselves on something that they call squiggly path careers. So what do I mean by that? Well, quite simply, most people look at careers as being something where you know or you can define what you want to do for the remainder of your career, and the only way to move is upwards. I think really from a young audience, a lot of you out there probably won't know or might be concerned about, well, what do I see myself doing for the next 21 years? We absolutely pride ourselves on hiring on potential. So we bring people in, and quite simply, we give you opportunities to move left, right, sideways, or upwards as well. So I found myself over the time being in the world of L&D as a learning consultant. I got to travel out to the Philippines. I've managed in call centres. Like I say, I've now worked in the world of future careers. And like I say, I never dreamed about doing things like this 21 years ago. So I think to start off with, I just wanted to say that we're definitely a company when people look at us and think, right, mobile phone, home telephone, broadband, TV, cable in the ground, we are a lot more as well. And we're going to run through that. We're going to talk about things like, opportunities like cybersecurity, digital marketing, loads of great opportunities in our company. So that's probably a long-winded way to say hello. My name's Michael. I'll pass you over though to Natalie as well.
Hi, my name's Natalie. I'm a network engineer here at Virgin Media. I've done the 2 apprenticeships back in 2009, a level 2 service and a level 3 network engineer. And I've been in networks now for 10 years, which shows how successful the apprenticeship scheme is and the company that I work for, because I've been in the company now 15 years.
Awesome, thank you, Natalie. So look, let me give you a bit more context or a little bit more background about Virgin Media O2. So I suppose nearly 3 years ago now, we joined forces. So Virgin Media and O2 combined. And like I say, to bring you the sort of greatest mobile network, along with some of the fastest broadband speeds in the UK. We're a result of a joint venture between Telefonica and Liberty Global. And we're really passionate about bringing sort of our products to the forefront, as well as some of the skills that we're going to talk about as well. So as mentioned, we offer things like home telephone, broadband, TV, mobile, but also so much more in lots of different divisions and areas of the business as well. A little bit about our culture. So we pride ourselves on some values that we have: brave, real, together, and we really sort of feel that we put them at the sort of heart of everything that we do. So for the audience here, probably some brave decisions that could be coming your way. You might have to make some real decisions, but together, and we are situated over on the bottom stand, together we'll support you to move forward. And that's just a quick run through about sometimes how our values work. The thing that you can see on your screen here is our Better Connections plan. We just wanted to talk to you a little bit about this to give you a sort of sense of our culture as well. So you can see on the screen there that it's got by 2040 that we are going to drive to have a net zero carbon emissions in our whole value chain. We want zero waste in our operations by 2025, and by 2025 we want to tackle sort of e-waste head-on with 10 million circular actions as well. E-waste, circular actions, what does that mean? Well, quite simply, if we are pushing out mobiles to our customers, we're looking to sort of bring them back in, if you like, and dispose of them in an environmentally friendly way, or regenerate them back into the market as well. Through decarbonisation, we'll look to prevent 20 million tonnes of CO2 going into the Earth's atmosphere, all the way through to sort of equal opportunities for women in our wider leadership team, And also we want the 25% of VM02's wider organisation to be from minoritised ethnic groups as well. And again, you can see on the screen another few as well, but we just wanted to begin the presentation by sharing some of our values, or a sense of a feel of what our company is passionate about as well. However, let's get into it. I think it's important to talk a bit about our apprenticeships and what we have on offer. So a little overview to begin with. Our apprenticeships have been around with us since 2008, and we have an absolutely varied and wide sort of options available. The length of the apprenticeships can be anything from 15 months up to, as you can see on the screen, sort of 4 years, depending on which level or apprenticeship you choose to go for. We have some fantastic starting salaries, which range from 22,500 up to 30,000, and our apprenticeships are open to anyone from the age of 16 upwards. Typically, we go to market all year round. So if anyone's thinking at what period of the year do I need to apply for the apprenticeship, all you simply do is go onto our Virgin Media O2 website, into Future Careers, click on Apprenticeships, and we'll list all of our apprenticeships that are available. If it's not live, we have a Register Your Interest button, where quite simply it does what it says on the button. You click, you pop in your details, you register your interest for that apprenticeship, and then when it becomes available or becomes live, we will contact you directly so that you can then apply for that apprenticeship when it becomes available. Of course, if it is live, you can click on Apply and apply straight away for that apprenticeship as well. It's a permanent contract from day one, so we pride ourselves on this, that from day one, you are one of us. So you are a full-time member of staff. So when that apprenticeship finishes, you do not need to reapply for the role that you're in. You will just roll off that apprenticeship and continue in the role, qualified in that apprenticeship that you've been studying for. And like I say, it says there that working while you earn, so of course them competitive salaries are included within that apprenticeship as well. We do have a wide range, so I'm going to pass over to Natalie, who's going to talk a little bit about some of them apprenticeships.
Hiya. Right, so the range of schemes that we offer, field technician, which is if any of your customers, these are the people that come out to your house and fix your internet, TV. Engineering, which is the bracket I come under, which deal with network and the fibre optics. And then you've got the cyber security, which a lot of people seem to be interested, and digital marketing, as well as degree apprentices. So once you do the apprentices, you can always go do what I've done and gone on to the next apprentice after. And there's obviously many more, which Vicky said are all on the website. So.
Awesome, thank you, Natalie. It's got development and support. So with all of the apprenticeships that we offer, we pride ourselves, and I will go into a bit more detail on the next couple of slides, about we do a core 2-day induction. Of course, you get on-the-job training. So while running the apprenticeship, you are learning on the job, doing the do, working in the role that you are. But obviously, we give you a training provider who will give you support throughout that apprenticeship as well. So you get 1 day every 3 weeks in work time, so paid time, to get your head down and work exclusively on that apprenticeship that you're looking to achieve. So you don't have that busy 9-to-5 role and then have to go home and do all that study work and try and remember everything you've done. No, we'll give you that time within the work time to be able to study and achieve that apprenticeship as well. You get some great support around you, the Future Careers Committee, and also an ambassador program. So we look at, as I mentioned earlier, our apprentices from day one as being full-time members of staff. So we also give that outside, that extra development opportunity to join things like the Future Careers Committee, the ambassador program, where you can come to maybe say events like this, maybe talk in front of an audience. So it's not just about enhancing your professional skills. We'll support you with things like your interpersonal skills as well, maybe like presentation and things like that as well. So there's loads of great programs out there to develop your skills outside of the role and outside of the apprenticeship as well. Of course, you get a dedicated industry recognised qualification by the end, and Natalie will talk a little bit later about the graduation as well. Of course, we like to celebrate success. Some of it we remember, some of it we don't, depending on how well that graduation goes. But there you go. So where could you work? So we're sitting in Birmingham at the moment. Natalie, if you don't mind, I'll pass over to you just to talk, because I know you are, I believe, situated in Birmingham. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Birmingham, obviously, I go between a couple of them. So I'm in the field, out in the field, no office work. My van is my office. and I go all over Birmingham, but also we collaborate with different departments. So network expansion, people, business, all of these you're all going to interact with at some stage. So it's good to have interaction skills.
Excellent, great stuff. And as you can see, the red dots were dotted all around the UK. So Birmingham, so all the way from sort of up in Scotland, all the way down to London as well. The roles themselves, as you can see on the left-hand side, are wide and varied, and there's so much more. The actual type of working that you could do is we pride ourselves also on having hybrid working. So, of course, some roles might require you to go into offices, some roles might be out in the field. And some, like I say, are hybrid working where maybe you might be working 2 or 3 days in the office and then a couple of days from home as well. The great thing about Virgin Media O2 as a company is we pride ourselves again on having that sort of flexibility. So depending on what role you're in, you would have conversations with your line managers about, you know, what we call you and me time. So I suppose you time is very much the workload that I've got on. Can you as an individual get that done yourself? And if the answer is yes, then do you know what? Maybe you work from home that day. Maybe you can sort of do the things and maybe you're more productive by just getting your head down and working on a one-on-one basis. Me time is exactly the opposite of that. You need people around you. You need that interaction, whether that be for your well-being. It's important to interact with others, but maybe you also need to collaborate. Maybe you need to discuss things with a wider group as well. So that me time means that you can get into the office, interact with others, whether again that be in the office or maybe out in the field as well. Again, just giving you a sense of how we work. We're quite flexible and open to that as well. You can see again in the big circle around lots and lots of different areas, whether that be in people team, maybe commercial, maybe IT. Again, we have cool apprentices available like cyber security as well. So some fantastic opportunities, no matter what it is that you're interested in. This slide, I touched on it before. This just gives you a little bit of a heads up that about the support from day one. A lot of companies, when you go into a role, really focus on, you know, onboarding you directly into that role, and maybe from day one expect quite a bit from you. What we do at Virgin Media O2 is we have a 2-day core induction where you will join with apprentices like-minded, like yourselves, across the whole of the business. One, it's great for networking. It's great to get a sense of what others are up to, and it gives you a good feel about where the business is at. And for them 2 days, we will talk to you about, again, them interpersonal and professional skills, and really help to onboard you and get a sense and a feel of our company. From there, you then go into things like your individual role inductions, and you're supported throughout the whole of the apprenticeship as well. Again, whether that be through things like your line manager, the training provider, just loads and loads of support around you. This slide breaks it down a bit more in depth. Don't worry about trying to squint and read that. I'm struggling to read it from here. I'm sure you guys will probably struggle to read it from there, but it covers the 2-day induction. It talks about things like your training provider-led sort of modules. So the way that an apprenticeship works with Virgin Media O2, and probably the majority of apprenticeships, is that when you join us, every month we will give you a training provider who will talk to you about what evidence you need to gather, what things you need to do in effect to get through that month. As I mentioned earlier, you'll have 1 day every 3 weeks to get your head down and work towards almost bringing in that evidence towards that apprenticeship. The great news is, without trying to squint and read all of that, you flash all the way through your apprenticeship and get into the area which we call the EPA, or endpoint assessment. Now, the great news is, with the majority of our apprenticeships, the endpoint assessment, we almost do it almost like an interview style where we say, tell us a time when you evidence this or you've done that. And what it means is, because you've been gathering this evidence throughout the whole of your apprenticeship, you can go, well, actually, funny enough, in month 2, here's the answer to that. I've already got it. And it really supports with, you know, if you're anything like me, I struggle to remember what I did last week, let alone throughout the duration of, say, 12 or 18 months. So it's a really cool way of sort of learning and actually being able to get through to that 3-month endpoint assessment where you bring all that evidence together and support and get through. Natalie, I know training provider, so obviously you interact with the training provider throughout your apprenticeship. With you being a past apprentice, would you like to maybe talk about what that relationship was like and things that they did?
Yeah, you've got always got support in the time of the day. Even if you email them, they'll email first back in the morning. For me, it was 4 days out in the field with a mentor, which were put out of the business team. And then 1 day you go and study. You don't have to go to college or university. You can go to one of the offices or you can do it from home. But the experience you get from the 4 days out with your mentor is what you can put into your study day, and you've got all the examples as Mickey told you.
Great stuff. Great stuff. And look, while you're sort of talking to us a little bit about the support you got from your training provider, do you want to sort of talk to the audience a little bit about your role specifically and what it meant to you to be an apprentice?
Yeah, as I said previously, I'm a network engineer, which is a level 3 engineer. I was the first female network engineer in Birmingham, which was a bit daunting at first because the area that I'm in was male orientated, and going into that as the first female. A bit about my journey coming. So I obviously went to secondary school, got my GCSEs, went to college, and over the 3 years I changed my course numerous times because I just didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. And the only thing I liked and I was good at was maths. So I ended up going to university because that was a path I was kind of pushed into. There wasn't much about apprentices back then, which, looking back now, as much as I enjoyed my time at university, because it gave me a lot of, I suppose, moving away from home, it gives me a lot of independence, but going back, if I could change it, I'd definitely go for an apprenticeship sooner rather than later. Why an apprenticeship? I feel it's a great way to learn on the job as well as earning a wage. You're not going to come out with thousands of pounds worth of debt. You're going to be earning from day one. My role as a whole, so I maintain and upgrade the infrastructure of the VMO2 network, which is changing daily. The best things about my role is the strong team play. You work in a team, you go out and about on your own, but you know you've got the backup of your team if you need it. And the opportunities that are available through courses and training, which I've just gone away and done a City and Guilds on top, which Virgin have paid for, in fibre optics, which was a 3-day course. And also, as Mickey said earlier, the ambassador. I never in my life thought I'd get up on stage and talk to a group of people, but during the ambassador I can give back to the apprenticeship, which has helped me progress.
Fantastic. Thank you, Natalie. So we're going to go through a little bit about our recruitment process. So if, you know, things that we're talking to you about and you're thinking, actually, this sounds quite interesting, well, what then happens? So if I wanted to put myself forward and come and work for a company like Virgin Media O2, what steps do I need to take? And again, we pride ourselves again on trying to be as simplistic as possible. So you go online, and like any role, you would fill out an application form. Pretty straightforward. And the great news is, with some of our apprenticeships, it sort of varies. Some apprenticeships, you'll need certain criteria, certain qualifications, all the way down to, we have a lot of apprenticeships which actually require 0 qualifications. So whatever end of the scale you're on there is an apprenticeship out there with Virgin Media O2 for you. So you'd fill out that application form, and that would take you through to the next process, which is an online test. It does say test, but it is genuinely about your sort of behaviours. So you go on and you put in your preferences. And again, because we're a company that hires on potential, what we're doing there is looking for, because again, at certain ages, if you're coming at, say, 16, we would probably assume that your experience will be this much, but your potential could be that much. So what we're looking for is, where's that potential? What really sort of pushes you or drives you or motivates you, because that could be transferable into a role at Virgin Media O2. Because that experience might be at this much at the moment, but actually following time with us, that'll grow and grow, and hopefully that motivational side of it, that potential, will stick with you, because that's you as an individual. So if we can then balance that with loads of potential, loads of motivation, and now extended experience, then that's a win-win for you and us as a business as well. We do things like phone interviews, we do coaching calls, so throughout all of our process we keep in touch with you. We think it's really important to keep in contact and talk you through what the next stage of the process looks like for support, and we'll hopefully answer any questions along the way as well. Should you be successful at the online side of it, then what we'll do is we'll invite you to an assessment centre. A lot of this is virtual, but we do also do face-to-face in certain areas. And what that simply consists of is things like a welcome, where we'll invite you in, we'll introduce each other, and again, talk about what the day looks like. We'll do a series of things. Now, we don't always do everything that's on screen here, but we'll do things like group exercises, which is exactly that. We'll invite you in and you'll talk in a group with other people to see how we collaborate with each other. There could be a series of individual activities, interviews, again, really sort of bespoke to the type of role that you're applying for. Again, all hopefully in a good, friendly environment. And we obviously get feedback. Things like NPS, we're through the roof. We're plus 69 when it comes to a process. Now, what does that mean? That's a net promoter score. The industry average is about 50. Anything 50 plus is deemed as exceptional. We're sitting at 69. So I can promise you that the process that we have is a really inclusive, good experience for everybody who's involved. Okay, with that, I think we'll come to benefits. So hopefully we're talking a good game, and you're enjoying some of the stuff that we're listening to. But of course, if you join us, what kind of benefits could be on offer for you? I mentioned earlier a competitive salary, 22,500, stretching to 30,000 as a starting salary. There could be uplifts throughout your apprenticeship as well to get more. There's incentive schemes where you get more as well. And of course, if you progress with the company, they are starting salaries that you can see on your screen there. Natalie, if I pass over to you to talk a little bit about the volunteering.
So we get 5 volunteering days a year paid for by the company, so you can use that for any charity. Like I personally, I lost my dad 2 years ago, so I go and volunteer at the local hospice that looked after Dad, ranging from doing gardening work to going in the day centre and doing activities with the patients, which is a fantastic thing to give back to local communities. If you've got one close to your heart, you can volunteer back there and Virgin will pay for that. Your D&I networks, that can be anything from, they do carers network, women's network, which we'll talk a bit more about on the next slide.
Cool. Pension plans, maybe not the most sort of exciting things to talk about, but certainly something that I wish I had have invested in a little bit earlier. So things like if you go anything up to 10% of your salary into a pension plan, Virgin Media O2 will match you all the way to 10% as well. Just really thinking about the future as well. So a really good competitive pension plan to be involved in. You get access to private healthcare through Bupa. Hopefully that's one that you don't ever need, but always good peace of mind in the background, as well as the standard 25 days holiday, but you actually get the opportunity to buy and sell up to 5 days as well, giving you that flexibility to really add or remove holidays, because everybody's different. Some people struggle to take 25 days. For some people, it's not enough. So you'd either take that out your salary or would pay you into the salary depending on which way around you move, giving you that flexibility. Some discounts?
Yeah, so we've got many discounts across all the Virgin companies, so Virgin Holidays, Virgin Atlantic. You can even go into a competition every year to win a couple of nights on Richard Branson's Island out in Necker Island, which I still haven't won. My rates mobile and cabling, so you get discount on your TV, internet, and also now with your mobile phone with O2. And the big one is you get your birthday off every year. It doesn't come out your holiday, so if it falls on a weekend, you either have the Friday or Monday and have a long weekend. You're guaranteed your birthday off every year. No one likes working on their birthday. So.
Absolutely, love that. Love a long weekend for my birthday. Maybe too many, which is why the Bupa Healthcare might come in handy one day. So you've got self-service learning as well. So again, we're big on development. So we've got access to tens of thousands of things like LinkedIn Learning. We've got our in-house portal called Oracle Cloud Learning. So again, if you really have the passion and drive to develop yourself, if the apprenticeship gives you so much but you want more, then of course we give you access to all of that free learning to really, again, develop yourself individually. And we mentioned earlier, it's a permanent contract. So you roll off the apprenticeship into the role because it's the right thing to do, but also as a company we've invested into you, so we want to see that progression. We want to see you really thrive within our company as well. So I think this is going to wrap us up, this slide, but Natalie, if I pass over to you, this is just a little bit about our sort of diversity, equality and inclusion, but if I pass over to yourself, Natalie.
So we've got the Women's Network where we have a Facebook group, internal Facebook group where we all get together, and anything you've got, issues that you've got in the field, you can talk to other women within the network. And they've got an ambition now to try and get more women into the higher management. And also the We Care. I'm a carer for my mum, and as well as the volunteering days, you also get 5 carers days a year, which amazing, helps support, because without that I'd really struggle to do my job and care for my mum. So they give you 5 days so I can help out and go for appointments and that with her, which not many companies will offer.
Excellent. We've got the Proudly Network, so we're proudly on a mission to build a safe and dynamic community where, let's say, a community of empowered LGBTQ plus people and allies as well. As well as we've got the neurodiversity, so discovering, sharing and celebrating the unique skills and talents of neurodiverse minds within Virgin Media O2 as well. And of course, there's lots of layers underneath these programs. We just want to be clear that we're really passionate about supporting all types of people coming into the business as well. As well as we've got the Enrich program. So Enrich at VMO2 is about creating and maintaining an anti-racist community, where again we're really proud to make sure this is a company where everybody belongs and can thrive as well. And then last but not least, the Ultraviolet. The ambition at the Ultraviolet is to break down barriers to ensure greater equality and equity for our disabled community as well. So again, we just wanted to sort of wrap on that, just to sort of, again, give you a little sense of the values in the company that potentially you could be coming into as well. I think that just about takes us to the end, and hopefully we're on time there. If you did want to know more, we're based downstairs at the far end. At the very least, we're giving away sweets, so there you go. But also, you've got the QR code. So the last thing to wrap on that is when scanning the QR code, it'll take us to our website, or you can just go to our website, so Virgin Media O2, click on the future careers. If it's apprenticeships that you click on, it'll list all the apprenticeships available. You can read up on a little bit about what qualifications you may or may not need for that apprenticeship. And again, at the very least, you can click on register your interest. By clicking on register your interest, we will then notify you when that apprenticeship becomes available. Obviously, if it is available now, you can click on apply as well. So thank you. We are going to...
On the website, you've also got the Match Me. It will ask you 4 simple questions like, do you like working, problem solving, working on your own? And it will match you to 4 or 5 different apprenticeships, which it thinks will fit in with you. And it does actually work, because when I do it, it brings up the job that I'm in now. I've been in for the last 10 years, so it does tally up.
Fantastic. Thank you, Natalie. We are going to exit right. What we thought is we do have 2 people on the stand already. If anyone individually wants to ask us something, we're going to hang around for a couple of minutes. So if you want to grab her, we're just going to be over here. If it's later in the day, we'll be over there. But thank you all.
Thank you.